Introducing LT Defense Tactical Gear, your ultimate solution for top-notch protection and performance in the field. Our armor bundles provide unmatched safety and comfort, while our battle belts and holsters ensure quick and easy access to your gear. Stay prepared for any situation with our high-quality medical supplies, designed to keep you ready for action at all times. Looking to enhance your skills? Our firearms training programs will take your proficiency to the next level. Trust LT Defense for all your tactical gear needs and gear up for success on the battlefield.
This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Military, I'm a certified financial social worker. I was in the Air Force for 14 years, and then I paid off $20,000 of debt while I was active duty within 3 years as an E3. So that's kind of like I got really into personal finance, and so I've been really passionate about that ever since. And that was 10, 12 years ago now. So since then, I became a social worker, and now I'm a certified financial social worker. So we kind of get into, dealing with finances, but then also kind of dealing with the psychology behind finances, like the mental side of things. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, your battle buddy when it comes to finances, please welcome the fire social worker, Joey Laswell.
All right. Hey, everybody. This is Money in the Military on Military Broadcast Radio, where we're giving veterans a voice. And I'm excited to be here to talk to you guys about money, as usual, in the military spectrum. So we do have a returning guest, Mr. Cameron. How's it going, man?
Good, sir. How about yourself?
Pretty good. We got some cool stuff going on. I know you're busy. You're actually gonna be heading around this neck of the woods, so we might actually get to meet in person, hopefully.
Yes, sir. Probably down there on Saturday.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, long haul trucker, correct?
Yes, sir.
And basically, he's wanting to do a podcast, and he's a veteran, and so he's been getting on some streams with us, and doing a really good job, and got some good insights. So we just wanted to invite Cameron back. And, just kind of go through and talk about some military specific financial topics.
Okay.
But then, it's a personal finance show. So we might throw in some just general personal finance stuff that's going on in the news or whatever's relevant. Because, this is a Q&A. So I've been getting some, good feedback from people that they like the Q&A format. Gives people a chance to ask questions. Maybe if they don't want to do it on stream, that's fine. But so we have people that really kind of want to do kind of a live session, maybe on the air. We're not going to really be doing the phone call in. I know that's something that MBR can do, but well, I'm not too worried about that just yet. So right now we're just taking questions from the web, from my Facebook group, just different questions that people direct message me, things like that. So
good.
Yeah. So one thing I did want to mention is something that I actually did just recently, financially, and just wanted to use it kind of as a talking point. So I had a car that was, a newer car, but the the loan on it was kind of high, and I really wasn't using it the way I was wanting to. And I was in a different place when I bought the car. So basically, after doing some research and some digging, and um, I basically decided to trade down my car essentially into a nice little Honda Civic, a used Honda Civic. It actually has 10,000 less miles than my current car or my older car. Um, and it's going to save me $250 a month just by swapping cars.
Wait a week.
Um, Yeah. Well, 250 with the change in insurance, that's going to go down,
Oh yeah.
things like that. So yeah, like with that one transaction, I'm saving 250 a month um, with that. So it's kind of extreme, but like it's also, I don't know if you've heard about the book The Millionaire Next Door, but like it's a really good book, but it's kind of like it's the whole people that look rich are usually not rich, but the people that don't look rich usually are pretty decently off because they're not showing their wealth or trying to show their wealth as
I
much.
like that. I like that theory. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically what they did was in this book they read or they interviewed a bunch of actual millionaires, and they just kind of tried to do some research and to get some data on, okay, what is the actual day-to-day life of a millionaire look like? And surprisingly, a lot of them drive very reasonable cars. So I got a Honda Civic, which is a pretty reasonable car.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like that's kind of like it's almost like a running joke in the fire community that the people that the ones that are actually successful are still driving that 2010 Honda Accord or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to start the new year off with less $250 less a month. Also doing other things to try to streamline the finances. So yeah, just hoping to get some. I'm gonna do like a whole detailed blog post about it and share it
There
with
we
you
go.
guys. But yeah, just trying out different things. I'm always learning. I'm always watching videos. There's a guy named Ramit Sethi. He's a finance guy. I Will Teach You to Be a Millionaire, and it's a really good book. He's got a Netflix show. Man, I'm just fawning over him, but yeah, he's got a lot of stuff, a lot of really cool stuff. But
Nice.
he actually, yeah, he talks about that a lot of, you know, not having to be so restrictive with your budget, but like you cut down the expenses that you don't really care about. So like, if you're not really, you're spending money on, let's say, a gym membership and you don't even really go to the gym, then you could, that's not something that's valuable to you. But if you truly value like a hobby or an interest, then you should be able to spend on that if you just cut everything else to the bone. So that's kind of,
Yeah.
it's a little extreme for some people, but it's just a different take on how you look at your money, basically.
And basically what you're saying is don't live outside of what you're making.
Yeah,
If you're only
yeah.
making, and again, this is a trucker's term. If you're making $1,000 after taxes per
Hmm.
week, or a job where you're making a paycheck every 2 weeks, and let's say you're bringing home $3,000 every 2 weeks, don't live outside those means. You don't need all the Netflixes and internets and TVs and go partying. You don't need all that. Cut it down
Hmm.
to where you could put what would you say, $50 a paycheck, maybe $75 a paycheck back in savings,
Hmm.
and really just watch what you're spending your money and being smart with it. So yeah, I agree with that theory. I agree with how you need to really open the picture up and look at it and then
Hmm.
go, oh, that's gotta go, that's gotta go, that's gotta go, and
Yeah.
you just keep picking it out until you're down to the bone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's also, spending with, like you hear the word mindfulness a lot, but there is a certain mindlessness that we do with our finances a lot. So, being more intentional with your spending is also a big thing. So, you know, um, just like going to the like you watching your calories in, calories out, like it's like with your budget. There are some times where you're snacking, you're not even realizing that you're consuming all these calories, these extra calories. But then once you start tracking those things and you realize, oh wow, I'm actually, ingesting too much. So you can kind of you can kind of pull back. But you need that accountability and that visibility for some people.
Yeah.
Um, we got a comment or a question. What was the title of the book again? So the first book that I mentioned was the Millionaire Next Door, and that's been out for many years now. It's kind of like you know um it's for required reading for anyone in the personal finance space. It's just one of the many books that are just like classics that you have to read, and it kind of shifts your mindset on how to look at money and things like that. And then the other book I
Yeah.
mentioned was I Will Teach You to Be Rich, and that's by Ramit Sethi. um yeah, so those are two good books. I think I'm gonna try to incorporate some more, you know, like what I'm reading or what I'm watching, and kind of like have discussions based on that.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if you've heard of Andrew Huberman, but he's got a new video out. He's like a neuroscientist and ophthalmology professor. He's just a super smart guy, puts out a lot of really great, really interesting content. And
Okay.
he did a 2 hour plus interview about psychology of money. Um, and I'm only halfway through it, and it's amazing. So I'm excited to kind of dig into that and learn more about, because I mean they talk about it's a very wide ranging conversation. But if you do have a couple hours to kill, these are like highly researched, very well like um, put together, um, you know, podcasts. These are like high level
Yeah.
quality. So, you know, it was kind of a big deal whenever he dropped that. But yeah, so got a comment from C Beyond
Money in, money.
Infinity. Money in, money out. Definitely need to be more intentional. Need a stop sign on my card. Uh-oh.
That's not a topic that I think you and me need to touch right now because
Oh.
we might end up in the graveyard. No,
Uh-oh.
she's right. And it's funny because we talked about watching what we spend, and we're talking about again, watching what we spend and how we look at things. Man, the credit cards. If you're really not watching what you're spending, because that's not free money. There's an
Right.
interest rate attached to it. There's penalties, there's fees, there's everything. And if you don't watch and track it, like Dave Ramsey's a good example. He'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
don't need a credit card. I don't believe in him a whole lot, but guess what? It helps out my credit score if I keep to a bare minimum. They did
Mm-hmm.
say like no more than 30% of the card.
Yeah.
Buy something paid off. Buy something to pay it off, and it will help you out in the long run. Um, but again, and see beyond infinity is right. I wish schools would teach this. Give them
Yeah.
a checkbook, write down a problem, and say, look, how do you figure this out? Where do you need to cut the meat off the bone? And
Mm-hmm.
say, I can still make a living, and I can still have a little bit, but my bills are paid, and I can still
Mm-hmm.
put money aside. Schools don't teach that, and unfortunately, we have to. Some people like me, we have to learn it by making the mistakes and going, well, I'll put myself in $15,000 worth of debt. So yeah, she is right.
Mm-hmm.
Stop sign on my
Yeah.
card. I wish there was. I wish there was a way to put a stop sign on there. But um,
Yeah.
all
Well.
joking aside, it's hard because you get
Mm,
to a point where you don't have that money coming in, and you just got bills coming out, and it doesn't stop. Don't stop.
yeah.
Bills don't stop,
Mm-hmm.
and you turn around, and you're going, ooh, how am I going to afford this? Or
Right. Mm-hmm.
how do I put food on the table? Sometimes you got to use that card, and it's
Yeah.
tough because you raise, it benefits go up. We switch jobs. We start at the bottom, and
Mm-hmm.
it goes on and on. So yeah, again, she's 100% right. I agree with her.
Yeah. Yeah, having a stop sign or some type of I don't know, like a alert. Well, actually, I just another financial thing that I did just today. Actually, I went ahead and signed up to kind of try out this whole Rocket Money app,
Oh, there
to
you
really
go.
give it a good try, because I'd used Mint before, and I'd try different things, and I'm just in that try phase right now where I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, like I'm hearing some good things about it in general, and I like having all of my accounts in like one spot, so like when you pull up the app, it basically has the full pic. You have to link all of your accounts, and that takes a bit of it's a bit of a headache, but overall, like it uses Plaid to kind of link up to your bank account, so
Yeah.
like it's very secure, um and it's already like, it just like the whole year, it pulled up the whole year worth of all of the spending categories, and all the transactions that are linked to my accounts, and I just have the number. I was actually going to go do this manually. Like I was going to go and just because I'm just nerdy like that. I wanted to
I wouldn't call it
basically
nerdy.
have the data, but in my mind I'm like, I can't concentrate and focus on getting the actual data into like an Excel. But with the Rocket Money, once you set it up, like it just pulls it. um but yeah, so I'm looking forward to yeah, that was Rocket Money. It's like an app, and then you can pay like you can pay uh, a fee. It's weird, like you actually can choose your price. I thought that was an interesting concept. Your subscription can be 9, 10, or $11 a month for the premium services, which you're gonna want. I feel like $11 a month. I mean, I'm just starting it, so it's kind of hard to say. But for $11, and it has all that information just at the touch of your fingertips. I mean, it's amazing to me. Having to come back from the days of balancing a checkbook, as Cameron was talking about. Kids these days they don't even know how to write a check. People in their in their 20s, you know, just it's just kind of an antiquated thing almost. But yeah, that's why we need to adapt. We need to learn how to solve our money problems in a more efficient, technologically, relevant way. Um, but yeah, so we got some good Tony from another MBR podcaster, inside the Hoosiers mind. Is that correct? I believe. Um, so he's just chiming in, saying hello, evening, gents. Evening to you, good sir. And let's see. Yeah, that's a great price for financial confidence. Yeah, it's you know, I think a lot of people's financial problems come from lack of awareness, and this basically gives you that awareness. It's just a lot of times people don't want to look. They don't want that awareness. So that's the tricky part.
Hey, Joey, can you hear me, buddy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I'm having a little bit of camera technology issues, but no,
Oh yeah,
that
you're
rocket
good.
money, that rocket money is detailed to the point to where you can put, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you can make your own categories. You can find your own subscriptions.
Yep.
You can find anything in there and go, wow, I didn't know I even had this one. And you can go in there
Mm-hmm.
and delete it and edit it and say, look, stop this from charging money. But then you can turn around and say, wait a minute, I spent too much money at the Dollar General store. Or I could spend too much money over at Walmart or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it gives you that peace of mind of, I needed it now. At the same time, though, I need to watch what's going in, what's going out, and it breaks it down: food,
Yeah.
gas, travel,
Mm-hmm.
education, your bills. I mean, it breaks it down thoroughly.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely I've been sleeping on it for a while and been thinking about it, and I just finally went ahead and did it. And yeah, so we got a couple questions coming in. We're gonna have to take a little bit of a musical interlude with My I guess my go-to at this point, my first break is always going to be Noah Peterson. I've actually been keeping up with him on Facebook, and he's showing his numbers, his streams are going up. So I just hope that somehow people are getting traction with his music from listening to it on my show, because I'm pretty much forcing people to listen to it at this point. So, but yeah, he's a really talented musician, Marine Corps veteran. I believe he's out of San Antonio. But yeah, this is Noah Peterson. So we'll be right back.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hey, everybody. We are back. This is Money in the Military on Military Broadcast Radio, where we're giving veterans a voice. And I'm giving our friend Cameron a voice here, where he's on the road, literally. Well, not driving right now, but he's on the road. No. He's a long haul trucker and a veteran, and we're just talking about having a Q&A, basically having people ask questions from the chats. If that dries up, then we just me and Cameron might just talk about some stuff, but we're this is a military themed personal financial podcast, but there's a lot, that kind of ties into just regular personal finance too, because just because we talked about it last time, where we're using acronyms and it's like a different language for the civilian world, but for us it makes a lot of sense. So there's just we're going to talk about like military specific financial things, but then we'll also just talk about regular finance too. Because it's relevant. People are interested, they want to learn more about money, and like a lot of times they're scared to ask, or they're scared to talk about it. So part of my mission here is to try to allow these types of conversations, just real talk and with real people, and trying to answer their questions, and I might not even know some of these answers, and as I don't sometimes. So part of it is I still have to learn and grow and develop. So so I'm just excited to be here.
Me too.
We did have a comment or a question: advice on trying to make your own version of Nellis Air Force Base with blackjack, entertainment, and a large BX. Oh
I
man.
like this guy because he has a sense of humor
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we're sit there and like you just saw me just shake my head. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh yeah.
I got to get a hold of him, but no, he is that you going. Where did you come from? Because I know
Hmm.
you're not from here. You know.
Well, those Air Force guys. You know how we Air Force are.
You know what? There's the answer right there. He went up and inhaled the jet fuel.
Oh.
There we
Yeah.
go.
There we
Them
go.
Air Force guys, they like to inhale them jet fuels on the weekends. And then,
Oh man.
I don't know about them guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, but yeah, as far as Nellis, I mean, I was stationed there. My first duty station was, well, technically Creech, but Creech Air Force Base, but we were living in the dorms at Nellis Air Force Base. So I literally had to catch a bus from Nellis, and it took like an hour and a half almost to get to Creech Air Force Base. So that was a 3 hour commute every day on the bus. It was interesting times. I got a lot of reading done, so that was helpful. But yeah, so good memories of Nellis. Yeah, actually, you know, uh, that is something that some military members do have to deal with if they have legal gambling that's close by. Some military members um, are not the greatest with their finances, and they go out and blow it on at the casino sometimes. So we actually had a couple people that were on the verge of either about to get kicked out because there's a security clearance thing.
Yeah.
Um, we were working with secret, top secret level stuff. So that is a possible outcome of your finances. If you're in the military, you have a security clearance, and you start racking up a lot of debts or start making some poor decisions, they could actually take your security clearance away. So just a word of caution.
Yeah. Don't be making bad decisions while you're in the military. At
Yeah.
least that. But the other ones, cool. Then learn from it.
Oh man. All right. Well, Tony's on fire today.
Not
Not
jet
jet fuel, but I was stationed at Bowling Air Force Base in DC, and we were next to a water treatment plant. Had a lot of poop fumes. All right. Well, didn't think I'd ever say that in a podcast, but I guess
You,
hey,
you
there's a
never
first for
know what's gonna
everything.
come out of this cat's mouth. I mean, this cat.
Oh man. Now he just succeeded in
I
making
stuck
me
my
say that
head
on
in.
yeah. But
Yeah, I mean,
golf
this guy's
clap,
2
Tony.
for 2 tonight.
Golf
Yeah,
clap,
yeah.
golf clap. You get. Now we're gonna go off the rails.
Oh yeah. Thanks,
Yeah,
Tony. By the way,
yeah,
thanks.
good. Yeah, well, it's good to have some fun and joke around sometimes. Because I think honestly, we're too serious about our finances sometimes, or some people not serious enough at all. But like I think there's generally a sense of anxiety about money. Like people just when they think about it, when they talk about it, there's just stress and anxiety associated with it. So like if you can laugh, like I've told stories of the stupid mistakes I made, and I can laugh at myself now. I still cry a little bit at sleep sometimes for some of the things I did, but I've learned. I've
Yeah.
learned ultimately learned the lesson. But I can still laugh about it, and I think that's one advice that I would give is to give yourself grace, give yourself some slack, because like we've talked about already, is that we're not taught this stuff. We're not I mean, yes, we're taught math in school, and I think maybe in nowadays there are actual personal finance classes being mandated across the country. Um, so that is happening. So that's a good thing. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, like a whole couple of generations that that never really learned good personal finance.
No, no.
Activities. Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things that the ones that wasn't taught, you learn by making mistakes, and
Yeah.
then now you sitting there thinking, all right, I feel ripped off. This is wrong. You guys are teaching now. What happened to teaching us from the time we were able to talk, and then we
Hmm.
get or hey, you're going to a duty station that does a different currency, different language, whatever. start teaching us. Put us in a decent amount of time
Mm.
or whatever, if you can, to understand it. But again, now they're getting the baby treatment where they're getting coddled a little bit more, and they're like, hey, we should have been doing this a long time ago. Let's fix this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I guess at least some young minds are being pushed in the right direction, and hopefully,
Yes, sir.
we can spread that love around a little bit. But yeah, it's just we've talked about before how the military doesn't do a great job of financial literacy. They could do a lot better from the very beginning.
Yes, it could.
So yeah, hopefully, the DoD powers that be, somehow find out about, this, we're chanting it, in the streets, like, hey,
Yeah.
teach us about money. We want to, military members, veterans, all these people want to know more. So Tony, he's on fire today. Got to keep y'all on your toes a bit. Did have a similar situation, Joey. I ended up with $30K in debt because of an administrative paperwork error when I retrained and was able to pay it off in less than a year as an E4. Wow, $30K in less than a year. That's very aggressive.
I mean, it's better to pay it off than to end up being pushed out because of, like you
Right.
said, an administrative paperwork error.
Mhm.
Look, I get we make mistakes, but and I'm glad that Tony caught it. But at the same time, though, it's like that's their job. They should know not to be screwing this up and making those errors. But again, that's a thumbs up for Tony on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be curious to kind of hear more about that journey. Tony, if you're interested, want to jump on the stream sometime, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, like that's another thing that happens in the military that a lot of civilians don't understand is that your pay can get messed up, and easily, and sometimes often. And no offense to any finance people in the military world, I know you guys get a lot of crap, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes it's a computer thing, or a glitch in the system or whatever. But that is a real reality that military members have to deal with, is irregularities in their pay, or especially when you're moving assignments. The BAS is the BAH is your housing allowance. BAS, all that stuff can take some time to kick in. So that's that unpredictability of the military lifestyle can really cause a lot of financial strain.
Yeah, cost of living too. Your upgraded pay, or you got dangerous pay when you're deployed. I mean, you got to really, pull that stuff up and go and compare 2 weeks ago to now. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but it sounds like this wasn't even his fault. It was just like, in Monopoly, when you have a bank error that's not in your favor, like this is one of those things where it's like, man, that wasn't that he got screwed. It sounds like. He's
30,000 in 1 year.
Yeah.
Nah, no way. I mean, I'm not calling him a liar. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I like my money, so.
Yeah. Well, he chimed in again. He said, "My first sergeant, chief, commander, etc., did nothing to help me. Wow. I had to rely a lot on my senior NCOs and friends on what to do. Learn to budget, do some quote cheap living to make it work. I love to come on and share. It's a wild ride." Okay. Yeah, that sounds like
that one.
Right.
I'm bringing the cigars and the whiskey.
All right. Yeah, I probably need some whiskey after a story like that. Ooh, man. That sounds intense, but it does sound like a wild ride.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So we'll definitely have to coordinate that, maybe within the next week or so, or I don't know. With that's the interesting thing about MBR is that all these different shows are going on for different times, and then you have your own personal life. So there's just like it's like threading a needle. That's
and remember, we can't go over by 1 minute. Because
well, yeah, we do have to be mindful of our time.
Yeah.
So I kind of lost track of time last time. So yeah, we're gonna try to keep it tight today. Keep it tight. I don't want to step on anybody's stream, so I apologize for that. So but this is live broadcasting, so sometimes things go long, sometimes technical issues. So
yeah.
I mean, but yeah, definitely, Tony, we're gonna have you on. Excited to hear that conversation in all the gory details. But obviously, I don't know, like you don't probably want to give us too many, too many details, but just want to hear like the story about how you, how did you
Pay that off.
pay that off? I think a lot of people would really be inspired by that. Um, so, but yeah, I mean, military life is unpredictable, and then dealing with your finances can be unpredictable. In regular life, not in the military.
Yes.
So, yeah, so it's just one of those things that, we're one thing he did mention that I want to highlight too is that he learned a lot from his senior NCOs and friends. So he relied on his direct supervision and peers and friends. So that's a good thing. It's good that he had that support at least.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised, like the higher level people might not always want to take that into consideration. But yeah.
Yeah, and then there's some NCOs up there that they got their strength. And it's you're on your own, dude. They don't care. It's or they put in the time and they don't have time to teach the young pups coming up from underneath them. So
yeah,
you may get lucky. You may have that one guy that says, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to educate you.
Right. Yeah.
Or you may have that one guy that says, I don't care about you. Just get out of my face. So you will have that.
Yeah, and sadly, up and down the chain, like sometimes you just don't have the most supportive people around you. But like I said, it sounds like he had at least some people huddled around him, and I'd be curious to, I'm sure a handshake, because that's the thing, like that interaction probably set him on a really good trajectory. And even though it was a bad situation, it sounds like he probably learned a lot along the way. And so he said if you're doing a show next Thursday about this time, I can hop on, and I'm more than happy to share. So yeah, we'll go ahead and try to set that up with Tony. Share it all. Oh wow, he's like he's ready to spill the tea. All right, how detailed do you want it?
Whoa,
we'll
hey,
we'll keep it PG, okay? We'll maybe PG-13. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the day goes. But yeah, well, I'll look forward to that, Tony. We'll jump on. Actually, I don't think we've even had a chance to jump on each other's broadcasts at this point. So it'd be cool to do that. I just realized I've lost count of how many episodes I had done, so I had to go back and do the math. So yeah, apparently this is episode 18. So that's pretty cool. I didn't realize it had been that many. Time flies when you're having fun. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. But yeah, I'm just excited to be here and share knowledge, whatever knowledge I have, but then also share from my guests, because part of what I'm trying to do here is encourage people that want to share their stories of success on the air. So if you have an inspiring story and you've basically overcome all odds with your finances in the military, then yeah, come on the show. Hit me up. You can email me, direct message me, make a comment on this video. Just jump. Let me know if you want to jump on the stream. So Tony said it's all PG, I promise, no rated R much. All right, so I'll have to have the bleep button ready just in case. I don't even know if I have a bleep button, but yeah, well, and then we also have a comment from C Beyond Infinity, another NBR host. It is unfortunate. Need more budgeting and financial training earlier on.
Yeah,
absolutely. So DoD, I hope. Actually, I kind of want to do a little bit of a deep dive and see what is the DoD actually doing for financial readiness. I may be talking out of my butt right now, and then it turns out that the military in general is doing something. But just from my experience and hearing it from other people is that it's either non-existent or it's all like with Tony, like friends, co-workers, and then maybe some direct supervisors. So there's not really a DoD or a military or any branch specific push, as far as I know, specifically for financial literacy in the military. So I guess that'll be part of my mission, is to, like they're actually passing it into law for schools across the country to have financial literacy. So I do know that part is in process.
And they should have been doing that years ago.
Yeah. Because I mean, that honestly would help some of the future military members. If they're going to go through and learn some of these, foundational things while in active duty, then they could, they don't even have to worry about financial literacy when they get to the military. They'll already be like ready to go for the most part.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a long process, and I'm sure maybe some smart minds, I hope, are working on that, because I mean, even the reason why I started my financial journey was just I didn't know anything about money, and I just had to learn on my own and read books and look at the internet, and now you have all these different resources that can make it even more accessible. And even with AI, like it's able to condense all these large bodies of work into a more digestible format, so you can actually learn it more like faster, more efficiently than I did and people before me. So I don't know. I think we're on the edge of some cool things, and I hope that it continues. But yeah, I just gotta keep fighting the good fight, and poking the bear maybe, and talking to somebody within the DoD and being an advocate for that. So we got a comment from C Beyond Infinity. Yes, it is time to start teaching more than trading time for money and paying bills. Yeah. I think that's another thing, a little bit almost philosophical too, about what is money, and what are we doing with our time, and we're trading our time for money, and then we're trading that money for certain objects or whatever. So it kind of gets into the and this is something that has come up in the FIRE community, the FIRE movement, is people will go and they'll early retire. Like the whole goal of this is to retire early, but they don't actually have a plan for when they actually retire. So like, you hear about these stories of like, oh, I'm 40 years old and I'm retired, and financially, basically independent. And then you're like, well, what are you doing with your time? And they're just like, I'm bored. Like it's crazy that, you have people that are basically financially independent and they don't even know what to do with themselves.
I mean, they just need to find a hobby, in my opinion. They need to find a hobby. They need to find. I'm pretty sure if you're retired by 40, then don't be wrong. It's a little early for me, in my opinion, because you got all the stipulations of 59 and a half, and if you pull up before this and whatever. But if you're bored when you retire, maybe, and I say this as a cautionary tale. If you retire and you're bored, go find a part-time job. Or maybe you shouldn't have retired at all. It don't get me wrong, it's tough. I've seen people retire and they lose their absolute, because they don't know what to do. They don't know how not to work. And unfortunately, that's where we're kind of where the economy and where the politics have led us to believe or to see. So I mean, it's wish in one hand, and you know the other part of the statement is in the other one.
Right.
So how did Tony say it? Poop in one hand. There you go, Tony.
There you go, Tony. Shout out to Tony.
But it's so crazy, because here's a big question, and Joey, I want your opinion on this one. When did you learn about anything about saving money? When did you learn about even retirement, or hey, I got a 401k, I want to invest, or when was that ever brought up?
Brought up? I mean, if I'm being honest, my dad tried when I was a teenager and like set me up for like we went to the bank and set up a savings account. I put my pennies and my quarters and everything in there. And so I technically started at a young age, but really, like we said before, and I think in a previous episode, like I still went out and made a lot of poor decisions. And then I had to, even with my dad trying to be like, okay, you need to do this. You need, like, he was trying, he was really trying. So, but it was like, that teenager, early 20s in one year, out the other.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, well, yeah, thank you for that, Dad, but I'm going to do the exact opposite instead. And then lo and behold, it blows up in my face. And then, I'm sitting there holding the bag. But, I think it's just one of those things that, yeah, some people can learn. You just tell them the formula and they just go ahead and do it. They just was like, okay, I will. And I had that happen a couple of my subordinates. I was like, all right, you need to set up a retirement account, like I would do that. And he's like 19, 20 years old. And he was like, okay, all right, we'll do. And he literally did it like in like the same day. And, he didn't even push back at all. Whereas other people, it's like herding cats, it's tough, but, yeah. So, look at another thrift savings plan was my first time hearing that I could do it. Okay. So she was talking about, when was the first time you heard, like, really learned about savings and stuff? Otherwise, that stuff was for rich people. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, she's not lying. I mean, when you hear about thrift savings plan, again, in my opinion, I don't know, it's worded wrong, I guess you want to say, because it gives off the wrong vibe, in my opinion. I heard about it. Did I save anything? No. And this was in the military. I tried in the military. Coming out, now I've got some money saved up, but again, it's not where I want it. As she said, that was stuff for rich people. She's not lying. I mean, it's hard to sit there and deny what she's saying. So
right. Yeah, and part of that is a lot of socialization. Honestly, we the way we learn our money habits usually by the time we're 6 years old, as early as like you learn from your parents at such a young age, and then some of your actual financial beliefs are usually firmed up by the time you're going into like adolescence. So we learn that stuff early on, and a lot of times you don't have any control over okay, my parents were really stingy, and I learned that you had to value money, and we didn't have enough money, but turns out they were super savers, and they saved a bunch of money, and that's why they were able to be successful. But yeah, like just having these conversations, talking about it, I think that's helpful. And I appreciate Infinity, or See Beyond Infinity, to bring all these things up, because these are really great insights and great observations and stuff. So I appreciate you adding to the conversation. But with that being said, we are going to have to take another station break, and we are going to play, I guess this time I will play Andrew Roborough. He's the other person that I'm really interested in lately. So we're going to play Red, White, and Blue, or Bleed Red, White, and Blue by Andrew Roborough. So we'll be back.
Since I'd seen his face, not much had changed, just a different time, different place. When I shook his hand, I knew something had changed. This was a different man from the one I knew back then. That's when he said, "We do the goals." Yes, I stand in line and watch the flag wave and bright. You see, this is what I do. Yes, I bleed red, white, and blue. told me the tales of his journeys far away. 3 times gone and land most only see on the front page. With honor and glory, he stood so tall and fought for you and I, so we could be free from it all. That's when he said, "We do the calls." Yes, I stand in line and watch the flag wave pride. You see, this is what I do. Yes, I bleed red, white, and blue. What do they call? Yes, I stand in line and watch the flag wave pride. You see, this is what I do. Yes, I bleed. This is what I do. Yes, I bleed. Oh, this is what I do. Yes, I bleed. Red, white, and
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
All right, we are back live. This is Money in the Military with the Military Broadcast Radio, and we just been talking, having them a little money financial Q&A. I had some good comments, and let's see, we got okay. So CB on Infinity got to head out. Joey, I appreciate the insight and awareness you're bringing to financial security and education. Best wishes for launching your voice to the community, Cameron. Oh, well, thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
Appreciate it. That's awesome.
So yeah, like we're just talking about different kind of financial things that have coming up, or military specific, especially. We've had some, some good comments, some questions, some jokes thrown in there. Got some, got a couple of jokes. We got some jokesters, but yeah, no, we got some good conversation, and we're here. We're just two veterans, everyday average Joe types, we're just trying to help people with their finances. I'm really more or less trying to help more people than I could, because I have a private practice, or I don't want to say private practice. I have financial coaching clients that I do on the side, but that's helping one person, which is good. I'm glad. I feel good about that. I really do enjoy that. But part of me is like, I wish I could do more. I wish I could, spread some of that knowledge out. So yeah, so that's
and for people to take it, that's not the biggest problem or the biggest question. It's, are they going to listen to it? Are they going to apply it? Are they going to come back and say, hey, I've done what you've asked, but I'm still missing something. Let's fill the gaps in. Let's make sure I'm on page. And if I need to adjust it, let's adjust it.
Right. Yeah. It's just, we're just trying to do our best. Like we've talked about before, personal finance is usually the last thing that people want to talk about generally. They'll talk about politics before they'll talk about, debt. But it used to be, it's always been kind of a taboo subject, but I'm really getting a lot of good feedback that people really do feel like, they don't feel so bad about, their finances. And, because everyone's going through the same things, and they're struggling in their own way, even millionaires are having financial problems. It's at a different level than we're looking at down here. But money is a natural stressor, no matter how much money you have. So we just have to try to be mindful of that and do our best to like we said, have a laugh, do something fun with your money, but just don't be irresponsible. I think that's the biggest thing.
And again, this is coming from a single man that has struggled with finances. Pay what you can. Communicate, get it in writing, and work on your bills one bill at a time. Don't again. I said it in a couple episodes ago. Don't stress yourself out. Have fun. That one time a month, or it's kind of like, as bad as an example it's going to be sound, it's like a diet, right? You sit there and you stick to your diet, you got to have that one cheat date. Well, when it comes to finances, you pay your bill that one time a month where you go out and go do something. Go to the movies, go putt golf, go karting, go bowling, go whatever, and say, all right, I can do that and still be able to live your life and just communicate. This is my opinion only. If you got a partner, a husband or wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, communicate on what you're bringing into the relationship and say, lay it out on the table. 100%, lay it out and say, look, I'm not going to hide anything. I'm going to be open and if I need help, I'm not going to be afraid to ask for help, because, there's that one person that's going to hide something and it's going to there's going to be that friction. Just be open and honest. That's all anybody would ever ask. Just be honest and work on it together if you can. Yeah. And then, like, if you don't have a significant other, you need to be honest with yourself as well. That's the hard part.
Be honest with your partner for sure, but then you also need to be honest with yourself sometimes, and that can be the tough part, of looking in the mirror and be like, ooh, I spent that much money on XYZ last month, and you're just like kind of cringing at yourself. But you like we've been saying, give yourself grace, understand that we're human and we're going to make mistakes. But really, I think we just need to have more healthier boundaries when it comes to money, and healthier habits. And, like I said, just destigmatizing it, talking about it, putting our, even if it's just roasting yourself in front of your friends, like, oh man, I made this really boneheaded financial decision. And then you start talking about finances, and even with your friends, like, you don't know how much your friend's worth, which is, his net worth might be something that you're curious about, but you don't necessarily want to ask that. And that's, but I just think that we should be able to be more open and honest and frank with each other about our finances, even if it's uncomfortable. So that's my challenge to everybody, is to go out and if you have a significant other, have that tough talk you've been putting off about finances, or, the end of the year is a great time for kind of like, shoring up your finances, getting ready for the new year, and starting off with a clean, fresh slate.
And don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, I'm not saying like financial help, or asking people for money. I'm not saying do that. I'm saying go ask somebody that says, point me in the right direction. We have that wake up moment, a wake up call, because if you think you can't do it by yourself, Mr. Laswell can help out. There's other people out there, tax people, or there's a program. Learn it step by step, baby step it, and again,
all right, I actually got to cut you off a little bit. We're running low on time. So I just be mindful of the clock. So so I appreciate Cameron. I appreciate you guys, all the people that jumped in the chat to ask me questions. I appreciate it. Thanks for the love and the support. We'll catch you guys on the next stream. Have a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.